You have found the In the Verse podcast. Songwriting inspired by pop culture media. With your hosts, Marc Gunn and Mikey Mason.
Welcome to In the Verse, a podcast that makes music inspired by popular media. I am Marc Gunn, the creator of Firefly Drinking Songs, the show, and host of Sci-Fi Pub Songs and Stories.
And I'm Mikey Mason, creator of the Beer Powered Time Machine podcast and currently the MIKEYtalks podcast.
This is episode 6 of our new 10-season episode, or episode season, what are those things, of the In the Verse podcast.
We ran out of episodes of Firefly to discuss and write about, and we're still bummed about that, but we'll be finding inspiration in episodes of other media, TV shows and comic books and cartoons, but definitely, absolutely not
video games. As always, you can support us in this and other creative endeavors by supporting Mikey at patreon.com/Mikey Mason.
And by supporting Mark at patreon.com/Keltfather.
All right, some upcoming shows and news. First thing for me, I'm at Sherwood Forest Fair, first 2 weekends of April. April 6th, I'll be at doing an internet concert with the Brobdingnagian Bards. April 20th, I'll be doing a cat drinking songs concert on Bandcamp. And the April 6th thing is with the Dragon Con Filk music track, so that's going to be really cool. April 21st through 23rd, I'm at Jordan Con in Atlanta. April 29th, I'm really excited about this. I'm doing a show at the Lost Druid in Avondale Estates. It's one of the venues that I play pretty frequently. But my plan is, since it's, Earth Month, I'm planning on biking to the show with my gear and CDs and such. And I'm really looking forward to doing that. It's going to be a really cool event. May 13th, Pontoon Brewing in Sandy Springs. June 3rd through 10th, I'll be in County Mayo, Ireland for a Celtic Invasion vacation. I do have space if anyone wants to travel with me to Ireland. And of course, every Wednesday is Coffee with the Keltfather at 10:30 a.m. But that is for patrons only, so go sign up.
Yeah, because it's affordable and you should.
Yes.
Celebrate the things you love or they go away. I will be performing April 1st with my band, The Meanies, at the Second Story Lounge in beautiful downtown Muncie, Indiana. I do monthly online shows. April's monthly online show is set for Friday, April 7th at 8 p.m. Eastern at twitch.tv/Comedy Rock Geek. April 28th to May 21st. That's an entire month of weekends. That's 4 weekends in a row. I will be doing School of Rock at the Muncie Civic Theater. They've cast me as the lead, as Dewey Finn, and so I'm the Jack Black character, and it's a lot of work. I'm in like 90 some odd % of the scenes.
Wow.
And that's so much memorization. June 2nd to 4th, I'll be at Con Carolinas in Charlotte, North Carolina. June 15th to 17th, Fear the Con in Brentwood, Missouri. June 23rd to 25th, Anime Festival of Wichita, where I will be the master of ceremonies. June 30th to July 2nd, I will be the Toastmaster in Conjunction in Indianapolis, Indiana. July 7th to 9th, I will be at Tremendacon in Springfield, Missouri. And July 14th to 16th, Phoenix Con in Appleton, Wisconsin for the 3rd year straight.
That's awesome. I'm so excited. That whole School Rock thing, when I saw you, I was like, that's just awesome, man. Congratulations for that.
I'm just worried that I'm going to let everybody down, but I'm
Not
used to performing when I can make stuff up.
Yeah, that's true. I can see that. I always loved acting and doing stuff like that. It was just such a rush. Even though you're having to memorize stuff, that's the worst part about it, is memorizing what you have to say.
Yeah.
I can't even do that for my own shows.
My minor is in theater. When I graduated college, I had my degree is in creative writing with a minor in theater. And
oh, wow.
That was 30 years ago. Almost. No, it was 20 some odd years ago. But it's been almost 30 years since I had auditioned for any play of any kind.
Wow.
So
yeah, it's been a while for myself. That's cool. And the Meanies, they going good?
Yeah. The best part about this band is that that literally we never practice. We just love music and we like hanging out and playing with each other, playing music with each other. That came out wrong. And 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 they had been playing together for so long, for 10 or 15 years or whatever, playing out, and they're neighbors. They live across the street from each other, Ryan and Mike. And so I would sit in for like literally the past 5 or 6 years. I would go to their shows and sit in, and I would just walk up to the stage and sing a third part harmony.
Yeah.
And I bugged them for the last 5 years. I'm like, you're going to let me in this band or I'm going to steal one of you. And I don't care which. And finally they said, okay. And we had one rehearsal, and it was, the rehearsal was okay, but it wasn't as good as the show that we did. And it turns out that every time we do a show, Mike makes a set list and Ryan and I make suggestions or recommendations, and then the set list gets altered and we all practice on our own, and then we show up at the show and just play.
That's
and
awesome.
It's fantastic.
That is really awesome. Congratulations. That's really great that you have another show to do that with.
Oh, it's just so fun, and it's all
Yeah.
cover songs, and it's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, some upcoming news or whatnot that's happening. So, of course, for my patrons, you do get a weekly Coffee with the Kilt Father show and podcast, and occasional new music. Not as much on, unlike Mikey with his weekly song, which I'll tell you about in a moment. Sadly, I don't get to do nearly as much. But I do have a newsletter that I put out every couple weeks, sometimes every week. But it's free to sign up. Head on over there and do that. I also am getting ready to finish up Come Adventure with Me. We're doing the final edits. In fact, I did some edits or replied to my engineer and said, here's some things to fix on the newest things. I think we have like 3 tracks that we have to finish, and then the album is done. The music is done. Then I can just finish up all the graphics and all that good stuff. So, but one of the things that I'm really been super, super, super happy about, and a big thanks to you, is I started studio days. So you've talked a lot about the big difference between a professional and amateur musician, which is you have those days where you do the work, you set aside time and you do it. What I've never done much of is having a studio day, a day when I could sit down at the studio and start recording and focus on music and practice and such. I do that every now and then, but it's always been very sloppy, very incongruous, not working together. And then so about a month and a half ago, I guess, I decided I was going to schedule my studio day, and I decided to put it on the same day as my Coffee with the Kilt Father, since that's sort of practice anyways. And I've been doing Wednesdays as my studio day, and it's been so much fun. Oh my God, it's been so amazing.
Good.
I've been practicing on a regular basis. I've been working on new songs, new music. I did some recording. I was able to finish some tracks for the album because I set aside that day. I've been actually I got to have some pedals for when I'm plugged in with my auto harp, and I've been, one of which is a looping station, and I'm now practicing with those pedals as well. So all in all, it's just, oh my God, it just feels so good. And then when I finish one of those days, I'm like, I'm so exhausted, but I feel so happy.
Yeah.
It's like when you get a really good workout.
It's work.
Yeah, you get
it is work, and it's both physical and mental. So you're getting it from both sides.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, but congratulations, because that's the way you get it done, man.
Yeah,
that's the way you get it done.
Yeah, I'm just, it's been amazing. So yeah, I thank you in part because you definitely were a little bit of inspiration every time you mentioned that at one of our panels we've done together. I was like, very good. So thank you.
So question, do you have an estimated release date for Come Adventure with Me?
So the goal is to have my goal is to have the music all completed, hopefully in the next week or so. I was hoping to have it done by tomorrow. Tomorrow's my birthday, St. Patrick's Day. This is March 16th when we're recording.
That's not just propaganda. That's like real.
Yes.
You're not just saying that.
No. I was born on St. Patrick's Day. I was destined to play Celtic music.
Is that what it was?
Yes, destiny. Actually, this is really cool.
I was destined to drink crappy green beer.
No. Celtic music. What's really funny though, and this is something I didn't know, but a fan pointed out to me years ago. I also St. Patrick's Day is also St. Gertrude's Day, patron saint of cats.
Yeah.
So not only was I destined to play Celtic music, but I was destined to create an album of Irish drinking songs for cat lovers. Ta-da!
Exactly. You're just fulfilling the cycle, man. The prophecy has come to fruition.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the past, some ancient Celtic cat cult sacrificed a goat to some obscure god with no vowels in their name and said, one day the chosen one will come, and here you are to fulfill the prophecy.
Exactly. So, yeah. I was hoping to have it done by tomorrow, but it's probably going to be. I will have it done. My hope is now to have it done before the end of the month. I pretty much head off to Texas for Sherwood right after that, so I'm not going to have much time to work on stuff. So I want to get everything done, and then send it off to the printers to get copies, and hopefully I'll have all the fulfillment done by the end of April, maybe May, and then I'll look at a actual release maybe in August or September. So
very cool.
Gives me some time to work on stuff. So
yeah. Well, my patrons on Patreon are still getting a new song every Monday, 52 songs a year for as little as $1 a month, though you're perfectly welcome to pledge more if you can afford it and want to.
Pledge more.
And they get the Mikey Talks podcast. Also, I just finished February album writing month. So in the month of February, my patrons got 14 songs instead of 4.
Wow.
So, and I like, there are a lot of them that I really, really like.
Awesome.
I kind of like all of them, but I really, really like quite a few. Also, I have a book. My first book is coming out on June 1st. Confessions of a Geek Bard is available through Falstaff Books beginning June 1st. We'll have the inaugural book launch at Con Carolinas, because apparently their book launches are a thing you can do multiple times. As far as I knew, you only had one. You can only launch once, but apparently you're allowed to launch once from every port, is the way it's being put to me. So, and you can find more info about the only pre-order currently is for a limited edition signed numbered hardcover pre-order. You can get info on that from my website, MikeyMason.com.
Cool.
It's going to have a special cover done by Davey Beauchamp, who is amazing and wonderful, and it will come with a CD with most of the songs that are talked about in the book, because the book is a collection of song lyrics and convention and road stories and songwriting stories and stories from my gaming life and nice. Personal life. So it's funny, it's touching, it's a reason to give me money. No,
man, we don't need a reason.
But if you want one, right. But there you go. So you can find info about that on MikeyMason.com, and I hope you read it. That's one of the reasons why I'm doing so much in June and July and August and September as far as conventions, is that, when you get a book that comes out, they want you to get out and promote it. And so I'm going out and promoting it.
Yeah. Awesome.
So there we go. Let's get to the plot. We're talking about today on season 2, episode 6, The Doctor's Wife. It is an episode of Doctor Who from the 11th Doctor series. I don't remember the exact season and episode, but it's the 11th Doctor. And
season
so
6, episode
I just
4.
ripped.
For some reason, I wrote that down.
6, episode 4. You know what? That just makes sense. It's Why didn't I do that?
I don't know why I did it. That's just not characteristic of me.
But just a fair warning, I did not write this synopsis. Mark did not write this synopsis. It was pulled straight from Wikipedia for time because we were short on time, despite how long it's taken this episode to come out. So here we go.
Did Neil Gaiman write this? Wait, did Neil Gaiman write this
Neil
story?
Gaiman wrote this, which is why I love. Was one of the reasons why I love this. Yeah. But yes, Neil Gaiman wrote this. The 11th Doctor, Amy, and Rory follow a distress call with the identification of the Time Lord, the Corsair, to an asteroid outside the universe. After landing in a junkyard, the TARDIS shuts down and its matrix disappears. The asteroid, called House, removes the matrix and places it in the body of a woman called Idris.
The Doctor discovers the Corsair and hundreds of other Time Lords on the asteroid were murdered by House, and that 2 inhabitants of the asteroid, Uncle and Auntie, are constructed from the body parts of Time Lords. Upon learning that the Doctor is the last Time Lord, and that no more will ever arrive, House transfers its consciousness into the TARDIS to escape from the rift. Amy and Roy are trapped inside as the House-controlled TARDIS dematerializes. Uncle and Auntie are allowed to die.
The Doctor learns that Idris contains the personality of the TARDIS's matrix, and they can talk to each other for the first time. With minutes before her body fails, Idris reveals that House had stranded many TARDISes before, and that its pocket universe is hours away from collapsing. The Doctor and Idris work together to construct a makeshift TARDIS from scraps, then pursue House.
Aboard the Doctor's TARDIS, House threatens to kill Amy and Rory. He plays with their senses as they try to flee through the corridors, and then sends an Ood called Nephew after them. Idris makes a psychic connection with Rory to give him directions to a secondary control room where he and Amy are able to lower the TARDIS shields. This allows the Doctor to land the makeshift TARDIS in the secondary control room, which atomizes Nephew.
House deletes the secondary control room as he prepares to break through the rift to the main universe, which the Doctor anticipates. The TARDIS's safety protocols transfer them to the main control room, where the dying Idris releases the TARDIS's matrix back to the TARDIS, destroying House.
A remnant of the TARDIS's matrix in Idris's body states that she will not be able to speak to the Doctor again, but will be there for him. Idris's body then disappears as the TARDIS matrix is fully restored.
So there we go. So a few things on this before we get into it, because I had one overwhelming theme that I felt ran through this, but and of course there are probably some sub-themes, but just some things on names real quick.
Okay.
Idris, right?
Yeah.
Is both a male and female name, although predominantly in Arabic society it is referred to as a male name, and even in Celtic society because it's a Welsh name.
Okay.
Idris Har was the giant, Hawr. Idris Har was a legendary 7th century Welsh giant and magician who gave his name to a well-known mountain called Idris's Fort. And Idris is also an Arabic name meaning studious or learned or to learn or to study. And it was the name of a prophet who is mentioned twice in the Quran. So there. And Idris Shah is a prominent Sufi writer. So I wonder if any of that played into the choice of the name of Idris for the character who would be the vessel that the TARDIS's matrix was loaded into.
Interesting.
Also wonder why that character was the only one with a name when you had Auntie and Uncle and Nephew was an Ood, and the only person with a name who still had a name was the only one who hadn't been pieced together yet by House. And then finally, House. Of course, we know what House is defined as, and in this, it's probably the thing we live in or on. But I am curious, because this came out in 2011, I believe. And the American TV series House was still on the air which is about a kind of harsh, almost soulless doctor with an addiction, played by British actor Hugh Laurie, and this house puts things back together in horrific ways, in kind of a soulless, self-serving,
Wow.
self-aggrandizing, self-centered way. So I was just wondering, just a thought, and I know that House MD was kind of this medical take on Sherlock
Right.
Holmes. That was the high concept. But yeah, so I wonder if any of that had to, and this is just me wondering because I don't know.
Yeah.
Um,
Those are some great observations.
so all right. So what stands out to you thematically, character, line wise? What jumps at you
So I'm going to go
about this
a lot of
episode?
it's going to be line wise because I had lots of comments about lines and I never really snagged on to a really good a theme that I felt, you know, super not at present at least. Let's see how it goes as we talk a little bit because
Sure.
but there's a whole bunch of little things that stuck out. Things the scrumptious. I just love the phrasing in this, you know, scrumptious little beauty. One of the things I was thinking about was the mark of the Corsair and the tattoo in every regeneration, which I thought was,
and a couple of hers.
yeah.
Every time he regenerated, and a couple of hers. That I think the doctor said that saucy minx or something like that. I don't know.
So I watched this episode like 3 times when I was getting ready for it. I think the first 2 times, and each time I was picking up little things like that, you know. So I don't know if I actually made that particular note, but I love the when she talks about, you know, thief, you're my thief, when the TARDIS points out, is talking to the doctor and pointing out that, you know, that she stole the doctor, you know, and he stole her, but that's really a cool thing. Oh, and her look at of human characteristics. Goodbye. What's that other one? Biting is excellent. You know, it's like kissing, except there's a winner.
Yes.
You know, so there's some really great phrases and looks at humanity in that. Why do I have smells like armpit? I mean, you know, tenses are difficult. Just so much fun. You gave me hope and then you took it away. That's enough to make anyone dangerous. God, what it will do to me. What was that from? Patchwork People. That was a line that I marked off and I don't remember it now. I might have to revisit it again because I didn't watch it right before this we recorded today. Are all people like this? So much bigger on the inside. That was a really cool idea. The whole you know, people, not just the TARDIS, but people are so much bigger on the inside. That's a really cool one right there. And I wrote down Patchwork People, which I like that. What do I call you? Sexy. Only when we're alone. Only when we're alone, love. We are alone. Oh, right. I wanted to see the universe, so I stole a Time Lord and ran away. And you were the only one mad enough. What a great phrase that she pulls in there. I love that she talks about the archive control rooms, and there are 30 archive control rooms according to which intriguing little piece of information. What was it?
He said, but I've only updated my desk 12 times. You can't archive something that hasn't been done yet. And she says, you can't.
Well, it also raises an interesting question with, I mean, that's past, but you know, she works into the future and such. So could it also raise the question of whether there are 30 doctors? You know, I don't know about you, but that comes to mind.
Well, if he's updated it 12 times, and I don't know if he's talking about each of his incarnations,
Right.
because he's the 11th regeneration or whatever, but he's also, I believe at this point, also had the War
Right.
Doctor. So yeah, so which technically makes him the 12th. Does that make him the 12th Doctor? Let's not get into there.
But nevertheless, it also raises the question, you know, how many times could the Doctor regenerate? And there could be a lot more than that. If it's updated 30 times, is that a future thing or a past thing? Or I just don't know. I mean, I don't know much about the past history enough, you know, the Doctors before the, you know, the reboot, to know if there was, you know, a whole bunch of control rooms that were archived as well. Who knows?
No, I think it is absolutely a reference to things that haven't happened yet.
That's kind of what I imagine.
So it's a future thing because I think he deliberately says you can't archive something that hasn't happened yet, and she goes, "You can't." She's a TARDIS.
True. It's true. That's true. Yes, exactly. I forgot about that again. Lovely, old, unexpected. I always liked it when you called me old girl. Just sweet. That's a sweet line. Fear me, I've killed hundreds of Time Lords. Fear me, I've killed them all.
Yes. That is a great line.
So
that is such a great
there's a
line.
lot of those great lines in here, and I'm gonna, when we sit down to do this, but those are the phrases that stood out mostly. I didn't come up with any specific themes per se, and I'm sure it's going to come together as I'm working on stuff. But yeah. Sure.
There's the I thought it's a minor theme, but repairing. What does it mean to repair? Because he's talking about when the Doctor is talking to Uncle, he says, "You have the eyes of a 20-year-old." And he goes, "Thank you." And he goes, "No, you literally have eyes that are 30 years younger than the rest of you." and he starts talking. That's when he starts going through, and he realizes that they are, as you said, patchwork people, that they are that there's probably nothing that remains of them, and of course that the Corsair was assimilated into them. She got the arm that has the tattoo, he got the spine and the kidneys, Uncle got the spine and the kidneys, and that's when the Doctor realizes that they didn't, that all of these TARDISes that have come here, that they killed the Corsair first.
Right.
That's the one thing, because what he wants is to be able to explain why he killed all the Time Lords, because Amy says, "You want forgiveness," and he said, "I want to explain." So because he did kill all the Time Lords, which brings me it brings me to the big theme of this for me, which is identity. Who are you? Are you some individual essence, or are you a conglomeration of the bits that make you up, like Auntie and Uncle? Right. Or the experiences that make you, like the Doctor, or the experiences that will make you, like the TARDIS. And this is just this weird identity thing. Who is House? What is House? House is the thing we live on or in. Auntie and Uncle and nephew, they're all playing House in a way, right? And House is obviously self-serving, but it's also, I mean, and predatory, but it's also perhaps animalistic in a way.
Yeah, I think that.
Although it can communicate telepathically, right? But like an animal will do what it takes to survive, and what it takes for House to survive is rift energy, which you can get from the engines of TARDISes, and so it lures Time Lords there, and it's killed hundreds of them. And the Doctor says, "Fear me, I've killed them all," which is such a brilliant line. But it also boils back to, who are you? Who is the Doctor? You know? Yeah. And House is the kind of being that will send out warning lights, or send out emergency response beacons to attract prey. And the Doctor is the kind of person who will respond out of the hope that he can help somebody and maybe explain himself. And it starts with, the episode starts with him going, "Oh, it's the warning lights, I'm getting rid of those, they never stop," which is funny, You know, it's like there's always an interruption, right? But once he realizes what it is, we've got to help somebody.
Right.
You know, and he rushes in. So who are you? You know, House is like, I'm dangerous, and the doctor is like, no, I'm dangerous. You're hungry. I'm dangerous. Yeah, he doesn't say it like that, but
Right.
that's kind of how it, you know, you're a jerk. I'm genocidal. And I'm the good guy. I mean,
which
but
raises
yeah, the whole
that's a
idea,
really interesting thought too. You know, yes, I'm genocidal, and yet I'm the good guy. That
and I'm the
yeah.
good guy. I'm genocidal, and I'm the
Right.
protagonist.
That's
You
just an
know,
interesting thought.
they're rooting for me, and I killed all of the Time Lords. You're the villain because you only killed a few hundred.
Right.
Um, but you know, and the whole the thief, and the you know, and her coming to terms with the personality of who she is as the TARDIS, and that she has a name, Sexy. You do call me Sexy. You bet I do, baby. It is my name. You bet it is. Um, but you know, she starts with thief, you know, and that's how she you're going to steal me. No, you have stolen me. You are stealing me. Tenses are difficult, aren't they? Especially when time is wibbly wobbly, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And she bites him, and yeah, I love that. Oh, biting, excellent. It's like kissing, only there's a winner. And then I've just had a new idea about kissing. Come here, you. I absolutely love this episode. It's so good. And he goes, and she goes, when he goes down to talk to her, he goes, how did you know about the boxes? Because she said, the boxes will make you angry. And he said, you said they'd make me angry. How do you know? And she goes, it's my thief. And he goes, who are you? And her response is, it's about time. Now think about that line for a second. It's about time that he came and talked to her, you know, asked her about who she is. It's about time that they finally talked. The entire series is about time.
Yeah.
I mean, who are you? It's about time. Such a loaded line.
Speaking of identity.
Not only that, but who is she? They had to kill someone to put her in there, right? And so now she is also, in a way, a patchwork person like auntie or uncle, only it's her personality's been placed in this body that wasn't her. But yeah, you know, you're a bitey mad lady. And the TARDIS is up and downy stuff in a big blue box. And I love that, you know, and she goes, and then you stole me and I stole you.
Yeah.
And he said, I borrowed you. And she said, borrowing implies the eventual intention to return the thing that was taken. What makes you think I would ever give you back?
I love that.
Oh, such a good, there's so many great lines in this. But yeah, she, you know, she finally gets to House eats TARDISes, and they get around to, we're not just, you know, he thinks he doesn't have a chance. Then he realizes we're not just in a junkyard, we're in a TARDIS junkyard. Now, all right, roll with me here. TARDISes are living beings. This isn't a TARDIS junkyard. This is a TARDIS graveyard.
Yeah.
The spirits, the matrices, the rift energy from the TARDISes were put into living beings, which were then killed so that House could consume them, right? So all that's left are the bodies of the TARDIS that they have to piece together patchwork to make another TARDIS to put her in. The Doctor has to be House to escape and beat House. They never say it was a graveyard, but if TARDISes are living things, he has to do what House did in order to beat House. But he says, it's not a junkyard. Don't you see? It's not a junkyard. And she says, what is it then? And he says, it's a TARDIS junkyard. And I was so ready. I was The first time I saw this, my first thought was he was going to say it's a graveyard.
Yeah. Huh.
And it's not. It's it's a junkyard. It's a TARDIS junkyard. So he makes a patchwork body of TARDISes, not even a complete one, just so that he can keep her alive for a little bit more to get them to where they need to go so that they can beat House. And then House literally just tortures Amy and Rory, which is another subplot that they're another sub theme I see, because most of the things in a relationship, most of our worries and dreads and all the tortures that we endure are mostly in our heads. They're borrowed trouble. They're not the reality of the situation. Right. You know, it's the things we worry about and that we dread and that are, you know, that are not the things we control and that we don't communicate about. And those are the things that hurt a relationship. Oftentimes, they're not the only things that hurt a relationship, but they can poison a relationship. And so there's that. But and also back to the identity thing, she's doing the telepathic message, and she says, you know, I'm talking to the pretty one, and
right.
Because he says, can you get a message to Amy? The telepathic circuits are online. She says, which one's Amy? The pretty one? And she goes straight to Rory,
right,
because Rory's the pretty one to
right.
the TARDIS. So yeah. So they get inside, and he does it. You know, they manage to get back to House, and House is, you know, he's like just angry, and he's about to kill them all. And he looks at House, and he says, House doctor says, all right, fine, I trust you. Just delete 30% of the TARDIS rooms, and you'll free up enough thrust to make it through. And House is like, why would you tell me this? He says, and because we want to get back to our universe as badly as you do, and I'm nice. And it boils down to who he is. And when he gets there and she's reinstalling herself inside, and House is dying, he's not, doctor, stop this. Al, stop this now. And doctor says, oh, look at my girl, look at her go, bigger on the inside. You see, House? And House is like, make it stop. And doctor says, that's your problem. Size of a planet, but inside you're just so small. And House says, make it stop. And the doctor says, finish him off, girl. How often do you see the doctor be bloodthirsty like this?
No kidding.
Often he's looking for peaceful solutions, or at least non-violent solution. And this is, you know, he's not stabbing anybody. He's not shooting anybody, but he's killing House. He is dangerous. And then Idris says, it's so very dark in here, talking about her body, you know? And yeah. So it's all about identity as far as I'm concerned. The huge overwhelming theme is about identity, and there's so much to chew over in this, and there's so much to talk about. And it's not even necessarily what you do or what you have done, why you did it plays into it, because the doctor's a killer, House is a killer. Why?
Yeah. Wow.
And it, you know, if it were just to stay alive, we might accept it. But House proves that he is a killer because he enjoys killing. He enjoys playing and tormenting things, playing with and tormenting things, as you see with Amy and Rory, right?
Yeah.
And dominating. And the doctor is not that. But you have to wonder if the doctor contemplates what he's doing while he's doing it, and what separates him from House in this, because the doctor is genocidal. Well, not genocidal, but has committed genocide. I won't say he doesn't feel great about having killed all the Time Lords, but he did a lot of
regrets, but nevertheless he did it.
Yeah. So there's all these questions of who you are, and I think that it boils down to identity, like time is a wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey thing. It shifts. It's not a constant. There's not one pure true identity, right? Maybe for a TARDIS, because they are a different life form, even though they're living. And then their identity changes when you change the form.
Yeah.
right? And identity does change when you change the form. Every doctor is a different doctor, although they're the same doctor,
Right.
right? So, and even when the ood dies, when the ood dies, the doctor says, "One more
Couldn't
ood I
save. Yeah.
couldn't save."
So he
And
has a
that
whole bunch of
right
humanity.
there is the
Yeah, yeah. He
difference.
has a whole bunch of humanity. He wants to help people, but yes, he still committed genocide. You know.
And House is only focused on House.
Right.
And the doctor is
Hmm.
not. And that's the real difference, in my opinion. But still, all of these horrific acts that were and but there's, I mean, that's the ultimate redemption arc, isn't it? When the doctor is able to commit, I mean, and when he comes into the show, he has committed all
Right.
these atrocious acts. That's backstory.
Right.
Right? Wow.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so that's me babbling for too long about why I love this
Never too
episode.
long, man. I love hearing your observations because you're really good at picking out those themes and finding them throughout the episode, which is just amazing. I always love it. I come up with find these little moments, which is all I can my mind can usually handle.
You got really, I think you're out of practice, because we've taken too long to record this episode, and I
That's
apologize for that. I'm at least half the reason why.
I'll give you that. You are half the reason why.
So
I'm the other half.
I will take 50% of that blame.
Good.
But but when we were doing Firefly and we were doing that fairly regularly, you got really good at jumping in and chewing and dissecting episodes.
And I this one that and I don't feel like I've had as much trouble with it. This one I felt like I had a lot of trouble picking out. I don't know if it's you mentioned the theme of identity, and I can't help but wonder if that's part of the reason I had so much trouble is because it's such a let's just say not popular concept, I mean, it's not like, love. It's not hate, redemption. I don't know. Some of those that mean something a little bit more to me. Whereas the idea of identity, which I think is great, is a great theme. It's difficult for me to latch onto. I don't know why. Maybe it's my lack of identity. But no, I'm just joking.
At all. I think it's that you're so secure in your identity that you don't contemplate that there might be varying nuances.
Maybe that could be it too. But I love your observations on this throughout. There's some really great stuff. I'm gonna go listen back just to maybe steal some. No, actually, I think I have some idea. No, seriously, I actually think I have some ideas of where I might go with this. And there's a couple things, and it goes back to the two things that I marked initially, which was the thief, you're my thief, and the mark of the Corsair. Mark of the Corsair, I like the idea because that again brings it back to the Corsair being a ship, basically pirate type character. It brings it back to the stuff that I do, Celtic music, and to the sea shanties and such. So it leaves a little bit of something there that I could work with. There's also a song by Dropkick Murphys called Rose Tattoo, and so when I heard that, I was like, this appeals to me for this particular reason. But then the line that you said that reminded me of, which is, what makes you think I'd ever give you back? And I love that. The stealing of hearts, and of what makes you think I'd ever give it back, which I think is I feel like it's something I could play with, or at least that's where I'm going to start, because I like that concept of stealing hearts and such. I like love songs. What can I say? But I feel like I can do something with it in a different context, and using this episode as inspiration. So there's a lot to unpack. How about yourself?
Yeah. It's whatever I write is probably going to be about identity, in some way, shape, or form. But the most charming bits of this are the interactions between Idris and the
Yeah.
Doctor. And I love all of that. But it's one of those things where I'm never really 100% sure where I'm going to go until I start
Yeah.
writing it. I kind of want to do something whimsical about the TARDIS and the Doctor's relationship. But on the other hand, there's that whole tortured mental thing with Amy and Rory about you abandoned me. But I don't want to write another tortured song.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, there's a lot. I may do something with the patchwork people thing because I like the
Yeah.
phrase. It's a beautiful phrase.
And I think it could
And
fit,
so,
lots of people, it's kind of a universal phrase, which I
oh
think
yeah.
is neat, because we are all patchwork brought together with our experiences, our life experiences. So, and some of those things are good, some things are bad. So yeah, there's some neat stuff you could do with that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's probably
I'm
where I'll
also, I'm
go.
also, I don't know
Yeah.
why, but maybe it's because, the past couple of months, particularly with my studio time and the extra time I've been doing, practicing and such, I've also been playing the guitar a lot more, teaching my daughter. And so I might mess with that a little bit, see if I find some inspiration in that direction. It occurred to me, I don't know if you remember the song I wrote for the Shepherd's Tale, but the song I wrote it on the guitar, and I've been playing that song a lot more.
Hmm.
And so when we get to Gen Con, can I borrow your guitar? Okay,
Yeah.
just curious, no reason, but it struck me that it would be nice.
I mean, it's gonna be
I
right
know
there.
but it's like I'm not in general, I'm not planning on bringing guitar to places because auto harp's my main instrument. But I was like, you know what? That particular instance would be a perfect time to say, hey, Mikey, can I borrow your guitar? Because I got a song.
It
I
really
got a
would.
song to play. So,
It truly would.
but I might even mess with that a little bit and see if I can come up with something in that vein. We shall see. So yeah.
Cool.
All right.
All right. I think all that's left is for us to take a break and write these
Yeah.
songs.
You're knocking. I open the door and follow your lead. You leave your mark like a corsair on an empty key. You say goodbye, or is it hello? The moment is tense, are you flirting with me? You stole me, that's the story that you believe. As we cross the land and sail the sea, you are my thief. I tell you, but it isn't true. 'Cause the truth is, sexy, I stole you. You take me, stealing my heart, stealing my time. We run away feeling so alive, happy and free. A life of patchwork adventuring. It all comes back to you and me. You stole me, that's the story that you believe. As we cross the land and sail the sea, you are my thief. I tell you, but it isn't true. 'Cause the truth is, sexy, I stole you. I wanted to see the world, smell the dust after the rain. I saw you were mad enough to go with me. It seems crazy, I'd ever find someone like you. So I took you home with me. You stole me. That's the story that you believe. As we crossed the land and sailed the sea. You are my thief. I tell you, but it isn't true. 'Cause the truth is, sexy, I stole you. You stole me. That's the story that you believe. As we crossed the land and sailed the sea. You are my thief. I tell you, but it isn't true. 'Cause the truth is, sexy, I stole you. 'Cause the truth is, sexy, I stole you. 'Cause the truth is, sexy, I stole you.
Yesterday or years from now, I needed to escape. I stole you, ran away. You stole me. What to say? No, not goodbye. What's the other one? A kiss, a hit and run. Built of time and tragedies, crimes and casualties, and hope. We live as Pandora's box, picking the locks of time, writing the universe. Chose you 'cause you're mad enough to try. Warning lights, they never stop, and I know it sounds absurd, but I finally found my word alive. We're patchworks, built of time and tragedies, crimes and casualties, and hope. We live as Pandora's box, picking the locks of time, writing the universe. We give all that we are, our souls and
Mark and I make our living as full-time musicians, and we love creating this podcast and sharing our music with you, but it would be near impossible to release as much great music and podcasts if it weren't for the generosity of people just like you.
So, if you enjoy this show, please support what you love. Your generosity pays for the production and promotion of our music and this podcast.
I want to say thank you so much to the amazing Patreon patrons who keep the music being made, my incredible misfits, especially Aura M, Reverend Chris Adata Smith. I'm going to start that over. Especially Aura M, Reverend Chris Adata Smith, Dark Unicorn, Amy Stewart, Michael Candlewall, Josh Logan, Amy Morris, Les Howard, Brian Jackie, John Haidt, Strad Van Zarovich, Scott Mealy, Scott and Melanie Weinhusen, Matt and Tracy Jackson, and the Hobbits, Jeremy D. Jackson and Jennifer Lewis.
And of course, I am super grateful to the wonderful people who support my music in the Gunrunners Club on Patreon. Thanks to my patrons, Nott Higgins, CJ Taylor, Sarah Crockett, Bill Mandeville, William McCassick, Brian Morin, Carol Burrill, Kurt Goodyear, Miranda Nelson, Jan Sinkush, Luke Miller, Josh Brown, Scott and Melanie Weinhusen, Doris Lane, Alexis, James Odell, Eric Ray, Marie Alm, James Reagan, Les Howard, Carrie Whitney, Tim M. O'Brien, and Troy Rogers. Thank you so much.
So what's next?
Next time we're going to do some Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Which the new season just came out. Have you started watching that?
We did, yes.
We haven't gotten to it.
We finished The Last of Us. We're watching Mandalorian. We're watching Ted Lasso just dropped last night as we record this. So, and we watched that episode.
My wife hadn't seen the more recent stuff. She was like, "Well, we got to watch the new Mandalorian," and then she realized that she hadn't seen the second season. So,
well, that's awesome though, because you got a lot to burn through before you get to this season.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so we're gonna jump into that. But although for me, it's gonna go back to season 1, episode 8, The Redemption.
That is the season closer, the season finale of season 1. Right?
All right. Yeah. So that's right. So we're gonna watch that, and we will be back next month to share stories and thoughts about the episode. And you can always drop us a line. Let us know what you thought of them. You can do that over on our Blue Sun Tour Facebook page, or email Mikey@MikeyMason.com. We might just include it in the show notes. I know I just messed up our closing notes.
That's all right. We're going to say it anyway. Being repetitive isn't, how many people listen to our closing notes anyway? Let's just go into it. Are you ready? Closing notes, begin.
Thank you so much for listening. You can download many of our songs when you sign up on our Patreon pages. Find out more about Marc Gunn and Mikey Mason, how to support our music on Patreon.
We'd love your comments, your suggestions, songs, or lyrics, or links to videos to share in the next show. Use the hashtag #InTheVerse. You can post them on the Blue Sun Tour Facebook page, or email me at Mikey@MikeyMason.com.
In the Verse was produced by Marc Gunn and Mikey Mason. Sign up on our website and find out more about the Blue Sun Tour when it happens at FireflyDrinkingSongs.com.